All right, so this is grooming and growth. So the main thing I want to, go through today is just some hardcore things. Some of you guys might already be doing this. It might not even matter. You can, use it maybe with some of your friends. Get on them. Help them to rock it out. If not, it is what it is. You can use it. Like I say, some of you might already know, but I am starting to take CSC in a slightly different direction. We're already, me and Sean Williams have been talking a lot about doing more with the men. Say again? Okay. So we've been talking about doing a lot more with the men. Yeah, we're going to make sure that y'all can win. And I'm going to give y'all the no BS, version of this. Yes, I'm Christian. Yes, I believe in Christianity. Yes, I love God. But I'm gonna give y'all some no BS tonight. Some stuff that you really got to kind of hone in on, stuff that you might have not thought about or might have not heard about. So we need to make sure that you win. Like I said, because I want y'all to win at the end of the day. And whoever watches this on video later, same thing. I want you to win. So as always, we always start with Christian Singles Connect links. If you want to hang out with us, if you don't know where our stuff is, blah, 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 there it is. You can screenshot it. Or if you're watching the video, you can always go back and pause it. But that's how you find all of our good fun stuff. Okay, so this is the message temperature, okay? So the word is not going to be too hard tonight. It's going to mainly be emotion, mind, and lifestyle. Generally when I'm going hard in the paint, I must admit I pull away a little bit because I gotta kind of go deep and show people some stuff they might be making mistakes on. And a lot of times we take it for granted that people get this as they're growing up, but a lot of times they don't. So also the advice tonight is going to be a little bit different. So I'm just letting you know any advice that's given, you need to use that at your own risk. No matter what the advice is, use it at your own risk, especially things that have to deal with health and safety. Those need to be discussed with your doctor. But any advice, use it at your own risk. Because like I say, this one's a little bit more heavy duty. So I gotta even protect CSC with what we're talking about tonight. Okay, so this is what people teach versus what's actual. So what most people will tell you is that all women are the same. All men are the same. In fact, I was going to show a video, but I didn't have time to get it ready. But there was a video, guy came to my church recently, and he gets up and he's doing this big speech, and he's just talking about how women act this one way, and he just keeps going on, and he's trying to really teach men how to love their wives and all this other kind of stuff. And then he says, hey, guys, you know us, and blah, blah, blah. And so he starts to do the same thing with men. And I'm just sitting there and I'm looking at him the whole time. And I'm like, that's really not how it works. That's really just not how it works. And if you've dealt with anybody that's constantly trying to tell you that men are one way and women are another way, it don't work that way. And that's why a lot of people get themselves messed up, because they assume that their wife that they have married or that they're dating, the girl that they're dating is just this romantical type of person. She just is very loving and kind, and she's motherly and she's naturally domestic and all this other kind of stuff. No, that's not true. Women run the gamut, just like men run the gamut. Okay, you have sensitive men, loving men, caring men, men who are domestic, and you have women who want to make $1 million. You got women like Cardi B and them who treat men like sluts. Again, just being real. They can have sex with them one day and throw them out the next. So there's not this thing where every single person is going to fit. And we need to really kind of get that in our heads about where do you fit. You even need to think about that. There's people who naturally fit the norm, and the norm is what everybody wants to say, that men are squares and that women are circles. But then there's these outliers. And the more I work with people, the more I'm starting to see that the people who struggle in dating are generally an outlier. They don't quite fit in this norm. That's why they're having so many problems. is because they don't fit. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that you gentlemen are that, depending upon everything that's going on in your life, you would know that a lot more than me. But it's important to understand this because you could be dating somebody that's an outlier and she don't act like the woman in the middle. So it's important for you to just kind of have that as a base. So this is when it's about to get serious, all right? So if you guys don't understand this, we've talked about this before, but just to get it through your brain, again, there are some non-negotiables that all women have. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. It's some non-negotiables. What a woman is looking for from a man is the ability to provide. This does not mean you have to provide for her. It means you have to be self-sufficient. No woman wants to take care of a man. I don't care if the woman is a billionaire. She does not want to take care of you. There is a something in the back of her brain that says, I do not want to take care of a man, ever. So you need to have enough money to be able to take care of yourself and a possible child. When you have that kind of money, that is when women are comfortable. Now, remember, there are women at totally different levels. You got women who are making $150,000 a year. You got women that's making $30,000 a year. So if you make $40,000 a year and you're dating a woman that makes $30,000 a year, she think you bank. She think you got money because you got more than what she do. And she's taking care of herself at 30, so you're able to take care of yourself at 40. One of the biggest problems with a lot of men, when it comes to this provision thing, is that they think they got to have all this money. You don't have to have a lot of money, but you got to be able to take care of yourself. And a Negro that's broke ain't gonna work. I'm just telling you straight up. It's just not. I'm not giving you any slide on it. I'm not playing around with it. You got to be able to do for yourself. The next one, to protect or try to protect her and the family. Look, most women, if you're slightly taller than them and you slightly work out, you ain't even got to be super buff or nothing. If she grabs your arms and her fingers don't slide into the gel of your muscle, if her hands kind of stop a little bit, she gonna be happy. Okay, so you don't have to be super muscular dude, but generally speaking, most women don't care about that. And these days, I'm gonna be real, a bullet is real difficult to protect yourself against a bullet. So, again, just being real, most women, if you're just slightly taller than them or you just work out just a little bit, that's going to give her that illusion that you can protect. Then the ability to lead. A lot of men are afraid of this. It's actually not hard to lead. We're actually going to talk about this tonight. It's not hard to lead. So I'm going to give you guys some tips on leading. Excuse me, and we're going to make this thing happen. Also, we need to know what women are saying. Okay, we need to understand what are women saying. So when a woman says there are no good men out here, what she means is something different. See, every time a woman says anything about a man, you have to remember it goes back to those unwritten rules. It always goes back to them, no matter what she says. So when she says there are no good men out here, she means there are no good men out here who can protect and provide for me, who I find attractive by being taller, stronger, with good testosterone levels, who is kind, loving, and that I can easily submit to. And we have done all of this information that you're seeing right now, we have talked about in front of the women, and all the women on CSC agree to it. So for you not to agree is illogical. It's illogical. Okay, so while all women are different, and I agree to that, there's still something underneath the surface. Okay, and this is the only thing that's underneath the surface for most women. These three little rules is just like our robot, the three rules. Okay, so that's all you really need to understand. So here are just some unwritten images. This isn't quite as important, but I decided just to put it up, to remind the people that haven't hung out with CSC as much. Some of these lines are bolder than others. All it's basically saying is that for a man, the unwritten image of our society is that a man is God focused and he is world focused and he's wife focused and he's minimally focused on the family. But for the woman, she is God focused, husband focused, and family focused. Those are the more unwritten rules of our society. Okay? But again, this is not as important as this right here. This is the main thing you guys really just need to get in yourself. So whatever women are saying, you hear you sitting in a room with 10 women and you know you got 5 buddies that are single and all these 10 women talking about they can't find no good man. And these women might even know who your buddies are. So when they're saying there's no good men, they basically have used this information to judge your buddies and you. They're saying that in their mind, you cannot protect and provide for me. You're not attractive by being tall or strong with good testosterone levels, and you're not somebody I can submit to. That's what they're saying. Okay, so are we addicted to beauty? Because a lot of what we're talking about today is grooming. Okay, some of it's growth, but some of it's grooming. We're doing about 50-50. Are we addicted to beauty? The truth is yes. Okay, we are addicted to beauty. Okay, we're not going to play around with it. We're not going to act like it doesn't exist. They've done so many psychological studies that have proven that attractive people get more, period, in every walk of life than unattractive people. But the good thing for you to understand, and I don't have slides for this for the men because I figured the men can understand this. I have literally 3 slides for the women, to explain this because they're a little bit more sensitive to beauty than we are. Okay. Every single person that God has put on this earth, unless there's a birth defect, is attractive. I'll say that again. Every single person is attractive. There's a huge difference between you being born attractive and you living in your attractiveness. Okay? Most people do not live in their attractiveness. That's part of what we're talking about tonight. Okay? Because living in your attractiveness is the difference between if Estado says, hey, I can sit at home, I'm gonna watch TV, I'm gonna drink some beers, blah, 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 and that's gonna be my life when I get off work, versus him saying, you know what, I'm going to drink water and then I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna get a little muscle going and then I'm gonna come home. Just him going 30 minutes to the gym every other day will elevate him from being a 5 out of 10 on the male scale to probably a 7 out of 10. Because it's your desire. See that extra little bit you got to do. So, but you're still attractive. But the whole thing is you can maximize out your attractiveness, or you can basically say, you know what, this is good enough. All right. So like I said, with the women, I take more time on that. But with the guys, I figure y'all get it. Okay, so how do a lot of women see male beauty? And you might have seen this dude. So basically, it's, in the face is mainly focused eyes, strong features, and a defined chin. It's all about your chin. And you can actually see the difference between these 2 guys. This is the same guy. This guy was photoshopped to be less attractive. And how did they make him less attractive? They weakened his jawline for the most part. They could have done more, like widened his eyes and stuff like that. But you can see the huge difference just in the jaw. Okay, this is the main reason why God gave us beards. Okay, the reason why women, it's all about the hair on their head is because they can use the hair on their head to kind of reshape their face in an illusion. Well, God has given us the same thing. Okay, he gave them the crown on their head, but he gave us our crown down here on our jaw. If you overdo your beard, you might think it's attractive, because men might think it's attractive, but many women don't find it that attractive, unless it's just, more of like a cultural thing or something like that. But the beard is there to help to define the jaw, to make the jaw pop. Okay. So if you don't have a defined chin, you can use the beard in order to define it more, so that you will give the illusion of being more attractive. Okay, so grooming fixes, all right? Don't be afraid of a rough look. Don't be afraid of different things, because what you want to do is you're trying to do things. Like the problem with this one is the hair here, it takes away from what women care about. Women care about, they want to see their jaw. They're trying to see it. And the problem from here to here isn't so much that he has the beard, because it kind of gives him more of an illusion of a bigger jaw. It was just too wild and crazy. This is something that men would like, not necessarily that women would like. It's like if you would think about from a woman's perspective, while there might be some guys out there that will want a woman who is a double D to pad herself to the point where she looks like she a double F. Okay, but most of the guys will be like, nah, that's just too much. That's just weird. And when we got beards that go all the way down to our belly button, that's how women see that. They're just like, that's just weird. That's not sexy anymore. Okay, that's like a woman with a triple F. All right, so you got to think like that. And see, a lot of us don't even know that our beard does that to women, and that our jaw does that to women. But that's what they're looking at. That's one of the main things that they look at to figure out whether or not a man is attractive. Okay, because they're looking at the features that pop out in testosterone. Broad shoulders, the way that our eyes work, the way that our muscle tone works. Those are the things that women are attracted to. So we need to understand what women are attracted to, so that we can gear ourselves to be attractive to them, not being attractive to our buddies. Because you ain't basically trying to get with your buddy. Okay, unless you live off Piedmont. Anywho, okay, women want you tailored. Okay, I think my boy Estado might know this, because a lot of Haitians and a lot of Nigerians, they like to be tailored. Okay, a lot of times I've gone to their weddings, you know, because a lot of people don't know I used to do weddings, and they like a man in what we almost consider a tight suit. That suit be tight, that one button be holding on. All right, but the truth is, women are attracted to men. They want to see your body. So when you're wearing these standard type shirts instead of the trim shirt, and you can kind of see it with this one over here, because that's the same dude. But in the small, it's a little too small. The medium fits him almost perfect. But then once you get, you know, the large is not too bad. But by the time you get to the extra large, he just kind of looks kind of dumpy. Okay? So you wear what fits you. Don't wear oversized. Don't wear undersized. Wear what fits you. But women, remember, women want to see you. They like looking at your butt. One of the first things I remember a girl telling me when I was 17, I was dating this girl, and me and her was talking on the phone, and then I forgot how we came on it, but she was like, oh yeah, I was looking at your butt today. You have a really nice butt. Okay, women look at your body same way you look at their body. Okay, so let's not play the game and act like they don't, and act like you don't care. Okay, so I admit I know nothing. A lot of people, some people have seen me out and about. They're like, man, Jay, you know, you got a cool style, man. You know, you doing it. I know nothing. Estado knows everything. I know nothing. But I got a friend in Pinterest. I got a friend in the internet. There is no excuse. No excuses. I will not take any excuses from CSC. There is no excuse. The internet tells you what to do, what to wear. You don't need a stylist. You just need to go out to Pinterest and look up men's clothing, men's suits, men's casual. And one of the things that you notice, you know, I know this is small for you guys, but if you could see it a little bit, you would notice almost everything is tailored to these men. That's one of the reasons why it looks so crisp and clean. It's because it's tailored to them. It's tailored to their shape. All right? So it's just one of those things to remember. Okay, so we're gonna talk about leading now and gone over grooming. That was enough on grooming. All y'all need to know with grooming, like I say, don't wear them baggy clothes, go get you some clothes. Okay, get your beard right, you know, understand what the women are looking for. Okay, so how do you lead? This is leading. This is what women want. Okay, how do you lead? You lead, if you're not a born leader, you can lead from intelligence. Be smart as to where you're going. Okay, there's a lot of proverbs that deal with this, but I think a lot of people are reading the proverb wrong because it's reading it through all the different translations and not trying to understand what God wants you to learn. When you read the proverbs are basic instructions of life. Okay, and so a lot of the things that Solomon noticed and he talked about were things that he's trying to help you. So these are some of the things that I really want you guys to pay attention to. I'm not saying it's going to fit everyone, but it'll fit some. You always have to remember we're talking to multiple people. Excuse me. The first one is don't be lazy. So many men are lazy. And I'm not saying if you date, you know, because you got some women that's got crazy stuff. They want you on the first date to give them a romantic trip or something crazy that they've seen on some romantic comedy. They like, I don't want to go to a restaurant. I don't want to go bowling. He needs to put in some thought. No, you just need to leave that chick alone. Okay. Because she's in romantic ideals and she's not really looking for a man. Okay. She's following fantasy. But what do I mean by stop being lazy? There are a lot of guys, there's guys out here, they don't want to open doors. There's guys out here, they don't want to pay for the first meal. There's guys out here that, you know, they don't want to do their homework on the different restaurant. I mean, it's pathetic. I honestly have had women to thank me, literally thank me for doing research on a restaurant. Literally thank me for making a decision to go from one restaurant to another or having a backup plan. Okay, yes, when you're dating, you need a backup plan. If one restaurant don't work, you need another one. Okay, and I've had women like thank me, like they looking at me like, oh my gosh, you're awesome. You actually thought ahead. Oh wow, I've never experienced that. Other guys are just confused. Dude, I ain't nobody. Okay, stop being lazy. Lazy brothers make you look good. If you do the basic stuff, these women gonna think you all that. I'm just doing basic stuff. Okay, and these women think I'm all of that in a bag of chips. Stop being lazy. Second thing, check out places before you go to them, if you can, especially if you're not a natural leader. Because any place you go to, if you're not a natural leader, you're going to be nervous when you get there because it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable environment. You don't know where the restroom is. You don't know necessarily how to walk in or what's on the menu. You don't necessarily know everything that's around you. It's just like right now, if you came to my apartment right now, you would be cool, but you would still have a little hesitation about you because your brain is trying to orient itself to my apartment. But by the time you come over, the fifth or sixth or seventh time, you don't even care no more. You probably go to my refrigerator and start pulling out stuff because that's how comfortable you feel. Women like confidence. Okay, if you take them a place you've never been, you're putting yourself in a situation to fail because that new place robs you of the confidence that you would have in a place that you go to all the time. Okay, so that is just one of these tricks. I'm giving you some tricks tonight. Because again, I want you to win. You have to understand what is the purpose of CSC. The purpose of CSC is to get you in relationship, is to get you married. So what we want to do is give you every single tip, tool, trick we can come up with in order to make sure that you win. And everybody's personality is different. Okay, so you can stay familiar. That's also something else. You can go to a restaurant you've gone to before. You need to anticipate the future. You need to think, okay, if we do this, she might want this. If we do that and we run out of time, like for instance, if you go to a restaurant, 9 times out of 10, if it's a pretty busy restaurant, you ain't gonna be sitting there no 3 hours. So if you're in there an hour and you're really feeling her, and you're like, man, I want to talk to her some more. If you haven't anticipated the future, you don't have anywhere else to go. So now you're like, oh, okay, well, and then as soon as you say that, she's gonna be looking at you like, well, thank you for a great night, and give you a hug and go home. But if you're like, would you like to go get some ice cream? I looked up, there's a nice ice cream place a block away. If you want, we can walk over there. See, now you've anticipated the future. But if you don't like the chick, then you can be like, thank you for the nice dinner, thank you for the conversation, give her a hug and let her go. But see, you extend with the women that you want, but you have to anticipate that. Otherwise, you ain't gonna have no more. It's gonna be over after the restaurant. All right? You need to read to broaden your understanding. If you have a problem with understanding women, you need to read. I am so, again, I'm gonna be real, on a lot of things. Again, I don't think I'm nobody. Y'all gotta remember that. This is not Joseph J thinking he's all that in a bag of chips. Okay? But I'm gonna tell y'all a quick trick. And this is what I'm talking about, read to broaden your understanding. You need to understand women, not necessarily at a super deep level, because like I say, a lot of people, what they're teaching you is they're teaching you the basic woman, the basic understanding of women. And to a degree, you need to understand that. But there's a lot of things that when you're around women that you just kind of need to understand. And so, for instance, if a woman is out, is on a date with you, she does not care if you touch her. In fact, if you don't touch her, she's gonna feel really weird. Now, you ain't gotta touch her inappropriately. You can touch her on her shoulder. You can touch her in her middle of her back. Okay, you can touch her hands, her forearms, stuff like that. And most women don't have a problem with that. But if you're sitting on a bench, shoulder to shoulder, where it's a little uncomfortable and you're not willing to put your arm around her because you have some kind of anticipation problems, then you need to understand the woman, a lot of her test is to see if you're comfortable. Okay? And reading a lot of times will help you to broaden that understanding of women so that you will feel comfortable. Okay? Because if you're not comfortable around the woman, she ain't comfortable around you. Okay, and women, you have to remember from their perspective, a man is dangerous. Any man is dangerous. Okay, a woman, maybe not twice my size, but a woman is, I'm 180 pounds when I'm in shape. So if I run into a woman that's 250 pounds, I can still do whatever I want to it. It's not a doggone thing she can do to stop me. If we're in the middle of the woods, and I want to hunt that woman down for any reason, it's a wrap. So you have to understand that from women's perspective, they are like, this dude can be dangerous. So if you're not comfortable, then she feels like you're weird. And that makes her uncomfortable because she's uncomfortable around a man who's uncomfortable, who is wielding power. All right? So you need to be comfortable. That's why so many of the things I'm telling y'all right now is to be comfortable. And this is a big one when it comes to people like your boy, Kevin Samuels. And I'm gonna say this multiple times because I don't think people get it. Stay away from emotional messages that focus on everything that's wrong without giving personal, i.e. the person in the mirror, solutions. Okay, this is how the Bible would say that. Okay, this is Proverbs 22, 24 through 25. Okay, this is actually one of my favorite Proverbs, and this is one that God has shown me strongly over and over and over again. And now this is my version, because I'm trying to write it in a way that you guys can fully listen to it. Don't hang out with, listen to, or befriend emotionally unhealed people, or you will learn to be like them and make the very mistakes they warn you not to. Do you guys understand that? Understand what I'm saying right there? See, when you hang out with Kevin Samuels and you listen to him, what happens is his anger from his own emotional problems toward women get in your head. And now you become angry at women. That emotional anger is addictive. Okay? So when you run and you listen to these people, and you say, oh, I'm not doing any harm. I'm not doing any harm. Yes, you are. You're putting the pain and anger into the back of your mind. The Bible talks about the fact that you will know people by their fruit and that people should walk in love. It's easy to see that Mr. Samuels did not walk in love. Okay, it's not like he was saying, look here, Black women, you know, y'all are doing this, and I really want y'all to understand it because I love y'all so much, and I just want y'all to stop making these mistakes. So I want you to think about or consider doing A, B, C, and D. That's not how his approach was. Okay, so you need to really watch that and be careful with who you're listening to because they are changing you. Okay? They are. You know, if you listen to cursing all the time, you'll be around your mama and then you'll mess up and you'll curse. And you'll be like, oh, I don't really curse. Yes, you do. You curse in your head, it's finally come out your mouth. Okay? So just be careful with that. Okay? Just be careful with that, especially because a lot of the stuff that Mr. Samuel said, and a lot of those people that talk about that say, a lot of that stuff we talk about here on CSC. A lot of that stuff we, other people talk about. People think, oh, well, you know, he's saying the truth. Everybody's saying the truth. You know, I constantly try to tell people, that's why I try to tell people I ain't special. God's truth is God's truth. If I go outside and throw a rock up in the air, it's gonna come down, ain't it? So what matters if I tell you it's gonna come down or Kevin Samuels tell you it's gonna come down? But what he's doing is he's putting that emotion in it. That's why people follow him, because emotion is addictive. Okay? It's addictive. And you'll get yourself in that mess and you will mess up not only your life, but everybody else that is connected to you. So try to look for people who are saying, okay, let's find solutions for problems. Let's try to love people through these problems. And let's try to make sure everything works out so that we as a people can come together. And just like what you guys are looking at now, the ladies, I'm gonna be doing this with them tomorrow, and it's pretty much the same information. It's just done from a different perspective. So I'm trying to help you guys fix your own problems, giving you personal solutions that you can use to get you more women. So instead of complaining about the problem, let's fix it. All right, so let's move on. All right, you know, y'all probably know what that word is. Okay, stop being that. Okay, complaining and emotional statements make you appear weak. They do, they will always do. Okay, if you are feeling a certain way, that's cool, I get it. Sometimes you need, especially as a man, you need a place to complain. But in our society and for a lot of women, they are not, they just, I'm sorry guys, they just, all that emotion, it just makes you look like a little loser. I'm just being real. So this is why you need safe spaces. So if you're gonna complain, if you're gonna deal with your emotions, complain to men and friends in safe spaces. That's why we have the men's group tonight. So if you guys have something, y'all can complain. We can talk about it tonight. But don't get in front of the women and like, why you women, y'all always want men that's got money. Because as soon as you say that, all the women on the call be like, I ain't talking to him. Instead, say, well, maybe I need to get my money up. Then you'll have some women that's like, okay, he's gonna be about he's a problem solver. I can get with him because he's a problem solver. That's why I say find solutions. Women don't necessarily need you to be rich. They don't need all these things. They're looking for a man who solves problems. They have problems, they want you to solve the problem. And a lot of problems ain't big. A lot of, you don't even have to be brilliant. Like I said, use your intelligence. You can solve problems just by going to the internet. One of the first women I dated, she came over and she had a Kia Soul. And she was like, my tail light's out. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's go over here to AutoZone. I didn't even question it. I was like, let's go over here to AutoZone. So I go over to AutoZone. I looked up online, what kind of light bulb goes into a Kia. I came back, I went to YouTube and looked up, the thing, how to fix it. So I did it, fixed it, put it in. She was so grateful. But that wasn't my knowledge. The only knowledge I had was to use Google. That was it. But I solved the problem. And that's all she was concerned about. I solved the problem. And I also did pay for it. Because I think sometimes men can get a little too cheap. Now, if it had been, I ain't gonna lie, if it had been a $250 battery or $100 battery, I'm like, boo, you're gonna have to do that because we just started dating. But if we had been dating for a while, I might be willing, but not in the beginning. I'm just not gonna do that in the beginning because women will try to use you. But the main thing is you need to be finding solutions. Don't be the person that's like, I need you, the woman, to find a solution for me. And honestly, one of the biggest things I hear women complain about is men that will not help them fix their problem. That is a big complaint that a lot of women have. All right. So work out, care for your body and mind. Your mind is your most important asset. And one of the things that I've learned as I've gone through and I've studied everything is actually what you eat affects your mind. A lot of people don't like talking about that, but it does. You can think about it like this. If you have ever smoked weed or better yet, drank alcohol, as soon as you put that alcohol in your body, what does it do? It changes your mind. It changes the state of your thinking. Well, that's actually what all food does. You're basically a chemical bag, okay? And as all that different chemistry and stuff is working in your head, it basically, some foods are gonna cloud your mind and some foods are gonna clear your mind. And the older you get, because I know we got some young guys on here, the older you get, guess what? It gets worse. All right? So it's better to start good habits as early as you can, eat the best you can. And remember that a lot of this food that is out here is, number one, addictive. And number two, it will kill you in more ways than just destroying your body. Okay? I mean, and again, we're gonna talk about this a little bit more, but I'm just gonna be real. It'll kill your libido. Okay, I got a friend right now, literally sitting around the house. His wife, well, actually, I got several friends like this, and their wives are like, "Come on, baby, let's, I want something tonight." And they like, "Ooh, can we just cuddle? Can we just, watch TV?" Because their libido is gone. They literally, the woman wants sex, but they don't want sex. And a lot of it is they've eaten their way into a situation where the younger version of them would be laughing at them. Okay? Here's another thing. Look for opportunities, okay? And these are opportunities of life. Women follow men with opportunity and can sniff those men out. I dated this one woman one time, and before she had dated me, she had dated a millionaire. And when she was hanging out with me, she just didn't care. And I'll be honest, I wasn't necessarily at that time the best boyfriend for her because I was a little mean. But the bottom line was she smelled on me opportunity. She smelled on me the concept that I will find solutions and that I'm always looking for new investments and opportunities. See, a woman will marry a man who is riding a bicycle if she believes in her heart that in 3 years he'll be driving a Mercedes. But if you're not looking for opportunities, if you're sitting around playing video games and watching TV, then that doesn't smell like the type of guy that's going to be ever doing anything but riding a bicycle. Okay, also know the difference between being a nice guy and being a nice guy. Because a lot of guys get this mixed up. Being a friend-zoned guy is the guy that's basically being run over. You're not leading. You're just giving her everything she wants. Okay, here's the best way to understand how to give a woman, give to a woman. And I kind of hate to say it like this because a lot of women that might watch this video later might get this wrong, but I think that the guys might be able to understand it. You kind of have to lead her in a way that's almost like you would lead your family, or you would, I don't want to say child really, but that you would lead just something. So you're making the observation, do you need this? Is this something that is going to enhance your life, make your life better? Is it essential? And there's a balance between you giving her essential things and you giving her things that she wants. So I'll give you an example. Like with the girl that I dated that had the Kia Soul and her tail light was out. She needs her tail light fixed. That can get her in a situation where she can get a ticket. Okay, so that is a need. She doesn't even really have to ask me for it. Like I said, I paid for it. Okay, she doesn't have to do much about that at all. Okay, that's not me being a nice guy. That's me handling the problem and finding a solution. So say for later on, me and her went out, early on in the dating process. And so she's asking me, she's like, do you like this shirt or whatever? And we did go to the mall. And I'm looking at her at that point and I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna buy that, right? Because I just met you. And I'm not about to buy no clothes for somebody I just met. You see how that's the difference? I bought something for her car and I had just met her. But I'm not gonna buy a shirt that you don't need and I just met you. See, one is essential. She really needs it. The other one, she just wants it. And this is how guys get in the friend zone because they're like, oh, I like her so much. Oh, sure, I'll buy you this shirt. Oh, sure, I'll buy you these shoes. And she has no heart investment in you yet. And if she doesn't have heart investment in you, you don't buy her those things. You just leave it alone. And you can watch her, be like, support her, be like, girl, I like that shirt, but I ain't buying it. And you have to be confident in that, okay? So also have soft stop rules to govern your life. And that's kind of the same thing. It's just basically saying, hey, I'm only gonna go so far doing X, Y, Z. I'm only gonna do this, X, Y, Z. I'm only going to try to go and handle this, X, Y, Z. So like for me, if I'm dating a woman in the first month, I'm not buying you any clothes. Now if you come over to my house and I don't know, mud shoots up on you or something, and you have to have something, right now because you was on your way to a party, then I might go buy you something. But it has to feel like it's essential. Okay, and that's why I say it has to be a soft stop because there's always an exception to every rule. Okay, so don't be so hardcore on the rules that you're not even thinking about the situation in the, the rule in the situation. So that's really important. Okay, so here's the whole thing. And again, this is where, like I said, if y'all think I'm not a Christian, then that's fine. Okay, and if the Holy Spirit wants to stop the computer, he can do it. He's done it before. Okay, don't believe the hype. Okay, women want a tamed tiger. Okay, flirting and sexual energy does not mean sex. In fact, many women are more attracted to the energy than the act. Not all women, I didn't say all, but I said many. Okay. And here is a major thing. If you do not have sexual energy when you talk to a woman, she will place you in the friend zone. Okay. So a little bit of flirting, a little bit of a smile, a little bit of, oh, I like your hair is fine. Okay. If you give her nothing, she's not going to see anything in her head. And 9 times out of 10, she's probably not going to want you. Okay. A tamed tiger means you have that sexual energy in you, but you're in control of it. It's not in control of you. See, a lot of men that are walking around the world, they're not in control of their sexual energy. In fact, when a man is not in control of his sexual energy, the only women that are attracted to him generally are masculine women, women that we say are walking in their masculine energy. Okay. Now, in CSC, we talk to both sides, so we're not really worried about women that walk in that energy, but there is a certain personality that walks in that. But for about 60% of the women out here, if you walk with your sexual energy all over the place, they're not going to be attracted to you. You have to have it under control. And like I say, under control can mean you could be talking to her, you can throw her a flirty smile, a wink, something like that. So she gets the fact that, oh, this dude got something in him. He just controlling it. Okay, that's all it is. I'm not telling y'all to have sex. Y'all didn't hear that from me. I'm not saying, grab your stuff and all that other kind of stuff. You didn't hear me say that. Okay, what I'm talking about is flirting. What I'm talking about is a smile. What I'm talking about is a wink. What I'm talking about is even a stance. When men are in their more of a sexual energy, we even stand different. We stand in a more aggressive way. And believe it or not, women are attracted to that because they're attracted to the natural way that men are. Okay, women like men. We need to get that in our heads. Because a lot of times I think as men, we're taught in middle school that women are these scared little things that are under the sheets and they don't like sex and they're all this and all that's bull garbage. Okay? Generally speaking, the sweetest, nicest, most innocent girl is the biggest freak. Okay? So what we have to understand is that women enjoy sex. Okay, and if you don't have anything about you that feels like that, it is going to be very difficult. Okay, but you still have to have it under control, especially in the Christian environment. You have to have it under control. Okay, so we need to make sure it's under control. All right, so here is the last slide, and this is really important. This is the first time I'm talking about this to the men. Okay. Testosterone production drops as you get older. Okay. I had to learn this firsthand because, like I say, I am 46, so I'm dead in the middle of this dude. And I got divorced right at 40, like 42. So this was crazy for me because I'm married, I'm having sex, everything's great. And I'm in my 30s, and then boom, I go into my 40s. I'm not having sex. And I'm talking about having sex. I was having sex 2 and 3 times, if not 4 times a week. I think that's about normal, 3 to 4 times a week. So I go from that to 0. Okay, but guess what? Testosterone increases with what? Better dieting, exercise, and sexual activity. Okay, so no sex, no, little exercise, dieting, whatever. This drops even lower. What does this affect? It affects everything. It affects your mental state. It affects your smell. Women are attracted to your smell. It attracts it affects everything. And then we go to church after already being single, and they're saying, oh, you need to be celibate or abstinent, which means you ain't gonna get no sexual activity. Okay? And women love testosterone. This is one of the biggest problems with CSC. As women get older, their testosterone goes up. So 50-year-old women are horny like 17 and 20-year-old boys. Okay, so you're losing your sexual drive and hers is increasing. Okay, so what do you need to do? And this is why I say you do this at your own risk. If you are 30 and older, or as you get 30, you need testosterone. You can talk to your doctor, okay, but you need some testosterone. Okay, and you also need the things that help testosterone survive in your body, like zinc. Okay, so these are just some things that you need to think about. But like I say, talk to your doctor. You didn't hear Jay say, go out there blindly and buy this crap. Okay, you just need to talk to your doctor about it, and whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna do. Now, this is the one I use right here, Testo Fuel. Okay, most days I take one pill of this and then I take one ginseng pill. Okay, and generally, if I have not dated in 2 months, I will take 2 of these Testo Fuels a day. If I start dating a woman, I honestly, you don't have to have sex with a woman for her to increase your testosterone. If you're just around her and your brain thinks in the back of your brain is like, ooh, we might have sex with her, your testosterone actually will go up. So one of the things that I've learned is that when I'm dating, I definitely can't do more than one of these and one of the ginseng pills because I'll break out like I was 17. I started getting pimples and stuff. Because that's what this stuff is doing. It's basically taking me from here and putting me back here. So when I'm dating, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create more of a 30-year-old energy. And what happens to me is going to be totally different than what happens to every man. Every man's going to be different in how his body's dealing with testosterone. But testosterone loss. So for me, I get tired. I get brain fog. I'm not as aggressive. Like 85 starts to scare me, literally. Getting on 85. I remember one time I was on 85, and this was before I was taking testosterone pills right after my divorce. And I'm going 80 miles down the street and cars are whipping past and my brain couldn't even focus on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I feel like an old man. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going too fast. Let me slow down. And I slowed down to 70 and got almost all the way over to the far right lane. And that's how I drove all the way downtown. Then once I found out, you know, I started taking them. And now, if one time I was taking 4 a day, and 4 a day, I was like 17 again. So now I'm like 85, 90 miles now, going down 85, zipping past, you move too slow, you know, all this kind of stuff. Okay, because now I'm too young. It's making me too young. It's making me too aggressive. All right, so it's about finding that balance. And the reason why, like I always talk about this, is because, again, if you're trying to be abstinent, the women can sniff it off you. You're not coming off as the stronger men that they're used to. And this is one of the places where, unfortunately, again, I don't hear the church talking about this. They want all the men not to have sex, but then they don't give them what they need so that the women will be attracted to them. That's why almost every church has that one man that's making his rounds through all the women in the congregation. And then all the women will say, I would never do him. I don't know. I just think that's nasty. And then the next thing you know, they had sex with him. Because at the end of the day, women are attracted to testosterone. So you cannot allow your testosterone to get too low. Now, like I said, if you're in your 20s or 30s, it's not so bad. But once you start to get into your 40s and 50s, you definitely got to do it. Now, if you're married and you know, enjoying 4 and 5 times a week and you exercise and then you die, then you probably don't need it. But, you know, that's on, you know, each individual because everybody's, you know, chemistry and composition works differently. So again, that's my presentation. I went over a lot of stuff, but the main thing is, guys, I want you to recognize that people are different. You need to figure out who you are, what you want, how you want to live. Beauty is important to women. Women and men pretty much have the same type of personality. We just don't have the same focus. So women want a nice guy. They want a guy that treats them well. They want a guy who is attractive. Okay, women fantasize about attractive men. Okay, so get it out of your head. They do. And then they want a guy who dresses well. They want to see your body in the clothes, and they want you to take the lead. So,
well, yeah, I'll start off. Yeah, I think this was a great discussion. I'm glad we had this conversation. I think, especially in the context that we're in, I think it's a much needed discussion. And I think you're spot on. Even going back to some of the stuff you were talking about Kevin Samuels, because I discovered Kevin Samuels a couple of years ago, right after I ended a relationship, and I saw the same thing that you were talking about. The more I listened to that and other folks like him, the angrier you get. I'm like, why am I so? And me particularly, I'm like, this is not even my experience with women. So some of it I agree with, some of it I can agree with and kind of empathize with, and spoke to some of the things that happened in my relationships. But at the end of the day, and that's one of the reasons I gravitated toward this group when I started looking at the YouTube videos here. None of these other folks out here are offering any kind of solutions. Especially these folks that are on YouTube. The so-called manosphere and the red pill community. They're all, first of all, these guys are out here, in my opinion, are out here making money. They know what sells, they know what gets clicks, they know what gets likes, and they're making money off just pushing that one narrative. And you got I think, in my opinion, you got two extremes. You got the women doing it on their end, some of them, and you got some of the men doing it on our end. And nobody is in the middle trying to bring people together. So they're all just spewing that rhetoric and keeping everybody angry and apart. And nobody's coming up with solutions to like I said, to get people to come together. And yeah, like Jay, you were saying, I saw the same thing. He's, he was just angry, and I stopped watching and stopped following that, because it's just angry, and it's not moving. Like I said, it wasn't just moving us closer together, as far as relationships go. I put a couple of links in the chat. One is a Style OG. That's a YouTube channel that I tend to watch every now and then when I need some little bit of style and fashion, men's fashions. I think he's a brother. I think he's in Atlanta. I'm not sure. And then another documentary I recommended is What the Health, because I'm a vegan. I've been a vegan almost 6 years now, and I started intermittent fasting March of this year, and I lost over 40 pounds. So I definitely, everything I got right now is too big. So I gotta redo my whole wardrobe. And so that's been a challenge, because I'm so accustomed to wearing stuff from the Big and Tall store that now that stuff is too big, and I got to figure out what my sizes are and what I can wear these days. So that's what kind of a challenge that I'm facing right now. But since I'm plant-based and a vegan, I would also encourage you guys, as far as your health goes, to look at more natural remedies. One of the things that I noticed is that my testosterone levels went up when I went to have my physical back in August, since I'd lost over 40 pounds. And I asked my doctor, I said, hey, let's check my testosterone levels. I just wanted to see where they were, and they had increased almost like 100 points just from me doing intermittent fasting and losing all that weight. So there are also some natural ways you can increase your testosterone, as far as things like maca, specifically black maca. And there's some other herbs and natural things that will do it as well. So, as Jay was saying, of course, talk to your doctor. But, definitely look for healthier remedies, I would say healthier choices, more plant-based choices that don't have side effects. And just consider those. But I can attest to, and I'm down to eating one meal a day. And my energy I was amazed at how quickly I lost the weight when I started intermittent fasting, and how much energy I had, no brain fog. I think clearly. Jay, I'm always doing 85, 90 on the highway. I can't even drive. It's so hard for me to drive slower than that when I'm out on 75, 285 or whatever. So, so there's no, it's just my normal default speed almost, as long as there's no state troopers or anything around. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate this message. I think it's spot on, and like I said, the only thing I would add is just look for some natural ways to maintain your health.
No, I think that's awesome. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Anybody else to start on, Jamar?
I can.
Like you said,
want to go
spot on.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and start or go, and then I'll get to you, Jamar. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't have much to say. I mean, you spot on a lot of the examples and what you went over. I agree with, and I've experienced myself. So I definitely take heed to it, apply it to my life, and see where we go from there. But I just like the comparison, like the gentleman before me mentioned. They're the men who are on the far left and the women that's on the far right, blaming each other but not trying to find a solution together. So it's that approach, like being intentional with understanding each other and understanding the individual. And you said it's not like we're cookie cutter. You just have to take that time to understand the people that you're dealing with. But I enjoy these conversations. I absorb it and like to implement it.
That's cool. I mean, I also remember we can just have a convo too. I mean, we can add to it, take from it if something came up. That's always the thing when we do these type of presentations. I think sometimes people they don't have much to say, but we can still discuss just new ideas or whatever. So come on, Jamar, what you got?
Yeah, so I have 3 points. One, Wilfred, to speak to your point, I threw something in the chat. It's a green juice supplement that I personally use. Again, I'm not an affiliate marketer, so I want to be on board. I don't get a single dime for promoting this, but I have been using this and it's been really helpful. And of the things that you talked about, it does have zinc in it for testosterone production. And also it has something called biotin, which is really good for hair and skin. Because another thing is you want to look as healthy as possible too. They don't want someone who's looks like he's about to pass over in 2 days, 3 days. So I found that it actually has been very helpful, especially if you're not eating 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day, however much you need to. This is actually really good on an empty stomach. So if you are doing intermediate fasting, you can be able to still get the nutrients that you need, even if you're only eating once or twice a day. But another thing, it's actually really good timing that you started speaking about Kevin Samuels, because I never listened to him until maybe a month ago. And I was actually listening to him earlier today. So I definitely do see, in terms of the emotional messaging that you're talking about, sometimes I do enjoy the anger, but at the same time, you do have to be careful, because you can't let that fuel you going forward in your interactions, because that energy does carry. So other than that, everything else made sense. I've seen it work. I feel like as I've gotten older, I probably have grown more successful in terms of dealing with women than when I was younger and dustier. But that has occasionally some of its own problems that we can talk about later.
Okay, well, that's cool. I mean, unless Larry and Robert got something to say, we can probably talk about them now.
Oh, give me 1 minute. I'll turn my video back on in a minute.
Okay, no worry. I think Larry about to say something. I think he's trying to figure out how to unmute.
I didn't have anything to say, guys. I'm just listening, taking it all in. When I hear you all's opinions and thoughts, I don't know if I have issues with meeting women or anything like that. I just think women don't take kindly to me being upfront. I've just gotten to a point. I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to waste my time. Hey, what are you about? What you thinking? Hey, here's what I'm kind of about and everything like that. Because as you stated, just like going on dates, you want to have things in place. And to me, we can go drink and maybe have some coffee. Although I don't drink coffee or anything like that. Let's do something simple. Let me get to understand you and you can get to understand me. Because again, all the different situations, I just don't have time for that stuff no more. So.
Man, I'm with you. And that's kind of what I was saying about, some of these women that are out here talking about, because you'll see them, they're like, well, I want the guy to do this type of super date. And I want him to take me here, and he need to impress me, and he needs to put in the work and all this kind of stuff. That's why I say leave them chicks alone. Okay, they got it's just as many problems, as a dude that's like, I want to have sex on the first date. It's the same mindset. It's like, I want what I want. I mean, here's the whole thing. If the person is really about trying to find a relationship, trying to get in a relationship, I know some of y'all not here in Atlanta, but in Atlanta, we have a walking trail called the Beltline that actually goes through downtown and actually goes through buildings. Okay. And it's actually becoming famous. It's like one of the #1 tourist attractions now in Atlanta. And if a woman is seriously about knowing you, she'll walk the Beltline. You see what I'm saying? Or wherever you are, she'll go out on a trail and just walk and talk to you for 2 hours without you spending a dime. I'm just being real. So when women are out here like, well, he's got to impress me and he's got to do that, then that's not what you're interested in. You're not interested in learning who the man is. You're not trying to get to know who he is. You're just trying to get what you want. Okay. And that's how men are when they like, well, I'm spending all this money. I'm getting in the draws tonight, ain't I? It's the same thing, dude. You're just trying to get what you want. You're not trying to really meet this woman, get to know this woman. And again, and I know, most of you guys probably already know this, but, we'll probably be putting this up on YouTube. But people need to understand married men get more sex than single men. Okay, I don't care what people say. Married men get more sex than single men. All you got to do is think about it. You go to bed and there's a woman next to you that's already cool with you, that's willing to have sex with you. And as long as you do what you need to do as a husband, you'll probably get sex 3 to 4 to 5 times a week, if not more. But if you're single, even if you have a girlfriend, if she's not a live-in girlfriend, if she just comes on every once in a while, you might have sex whenever she come over. Okay, but that's it. So you're going to get more sex with the woman that live with you and is married to you and is 100% comfortable with you. And I'm going to be real, because we don't talk about this a lot in this group too, because we're trying to do more stuff, because people are getting married out of this group. And we were talking, I was even talking to Robert earlier about doing more things, because he's married, but he didn't get married out of this group. He's married. But to talk more about what it takes to be married. But I'm telling you straight up, sex does not begin, okay, at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Sex begins in the morning when you wake up. You can set your whole day to get sex whenever you get good. In fact, I'm gonna tell y'all a trick, since y'all quiet tonight. I'm gonna tell y'all. All right, because I was married for 18 years. People always think, okay, when you're married, it gets boring. When you get married, it's this, that, and the third. Okay, first of all, are you a man or are you a mouse? It's your job to lead. Okay, what you need, all you got to do for a woman, like I was saying earlier in the presentation, a lot of times it's not the sexual act that gets the woman going. It is the literal understanding or the flirting or the fun of the sexual energy. I have friends who I tell them, because they'll be telling me they're having problems with their wife, and I just tell them straight up, I'm like, this, and I will tell them exactly what to do. I'm like, dude, just pick up your phone. This is what I want you to do, dude. She go to work, pick up your phone, and I want you to text her. I saw you get up this morning. I saw them panties you had on. That booty was looking good. Sorry, baby. You know, I'm sorry to do this to you at work. I just couldn't help myself. Sin, don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing else. You ain't got to say nothing else. Then I was like at lunchtime, just say, hey, I was thinking about it again. And man, I don't know. It's just something about that image in my head. Boom, sin. She could be sending you stuff. Good boy, I'm in a meeting. Don't say nothing. Don't respond. Because when you don't respond, it goes into her head.
Mm-hmm.
And when it goes into her head, she's thinking about it. She's thinking about it. She's thinking about it. I had conversations with my ex-wife where she would basically be like, you need to stop because I can't focus on my work. Yep. I'm like, that's my job. Yep. You're not supposed to be thinking about your job. You're supposed to be thinking about me. I don't want you thinking about your job. I don't care about you thinking about your job. I want you thinking about me.
Yeah, you got to start the foreplay early. Yeah.
Basically. So then when she come in through the door, it's all she wrote. She taking my damn clothes off. See, y'all got to get, that's why I say you got to do the work. And you got to get into her head. And it don't even take much. They were 2 texts. But dudes, like I said, I got friends that, like I say, they sex life is gone with their wife. And then they'll say, then like I say, a church will get up and be like, well, you know, women don't like sex as much as men. So men out there in the audience, you know, we just want you guys to just, you know, have faith that God's going to bless you. No, women like sex. Women like to be sexed all up and down everything. But the problem is you got to get in their mind and in their heart. And guys are lazy and they don't want to do that stuff. And then they come up with stupid reasons like, well, I just don't want to do it. I don't see why I got to do it. Why don't she do it? Are you the leader or are you the follower? Okay, take control. She's your wife. And that surprises me, all these dudes that they don't want to take control. I mean, I understand if you're not really a more alpha guy, but women are driven towards that alpha energy. They're driven towards that leadership energy. So if you know that's not you, that's fine. But like I said, be smart enough, okay, to prepare that anyway. Yeah. It's just like I say, if I'm dating a woman, she might be like, well, you know, I'm not the type that likes to wear makeup, and I'm not the type to do hair, and I'm not the type. Okay, well, that's fine, but there's YouTube videos for you to learn. So why are we having this conversation? Okay, just like I showed y'all Pinterest, trust me, the women tomorrow, they getting that same thing. They're gonna be shown Pinterest. There's no excuse for you. I'm not giving you any excuses. You know, a woman, you know, my ex-wife, like when she would wear heels, you know, my big thing was I didn't want the heels to hurt her feet. Because if I buy her heels and we go out and buy heels and she buys heels and they don't hurt her feet, because not all heels hurt women's feet. Okay? That's one thing a lot of guys don't know. Because, you know, you hear women all the time on TV, oh, it hurts my feet, hurts my feet. If you like a woman in heels, because not every man cares about that. I do. I like a woman in heels. I want the heels to be comfortable so she's not quick to take them off. Does that make sense? So I'm going to spend more time trying to figure out what are the comfortable heels. So if I'm out with my ex and she's buying some heels, first question out of my mouth is gonna be, are those comfortable? If she's like, no, I'm like, take them off, but they so cute. Now take them off. Because that means when she walk around in them heels, she ain't gonna walk around in them long. And 9 times out of 10, and this is one of the problems with a lot of men, where we receive a lot of pain from our wives, is that women are very concerned about what other people think about them. Okay, they're a lot more communal as a culture. The female culture is a lot more communal. So when a woman goes out into the street, when women say, I dress for myself and other women, part of what they're saying is true, because they are concerned about the woman communal energy. Now, remember, not all women are in this. We're talking about the women that was in that circle we're talking about before. So if you're looking at it from a communal perspective, okay, the woman is going to be concerned. So from your perspective, what does this mean? This means that if you go to church or you go to an event, she gonna put them shoes on for the people that see her. But as soon as those people are gone, she taking them off and she putting on flip-flops. So you don't get to enjoy her in her heels. Those heels are now for the enjoyment of everybody else but you. Okay, and women do this all the time. Men do it too, but women do this all the time. So I'm just saying, think about those types of things, you know. So if you like heels, get comfortable heels so she'll wear them for you. What's going on, Mr. Cox?
Man, I tell you, that presentation was amazing, you know.
I thought you were gonna call me a heathen.
No, I wouldn't do that, man. Because when them hormones start kicking up, you need more than the prayer and the word of God. You know, you need to know what you can do to sometimes, and people do it differently, but you know, we can't stop the nature of what God has given us, because sex is a natural process. And so anybody who tell you that you can't do certain things, and especially like be attracted to a woman, you know, something wrong with them because that God made us like that. And we have to be able to know the significance of it. From a married perspective, because I was single myself, and my second marriage, what I did was I learned more about me, you know. I worked on me, got rid of some of the issues I had, some of the things that were ill in me, that was preventing me from having a relationship with women. And every time I got around them, all I thought about was sex. I began to do some work to change the way that I was thinking, in terms of, okay, she's more than just an object, you know? And so her being more than an object, I needed to find my equilibrium and the balance of what I needed to do in order for me to attract that positive energy, as you spoke of earlier. And so I just began to operate in my gifts and my purpose. And when, you know, I believe, and there are so many variances, and there are so many scenarios, there's so many different ways that it has to be something that fits you. You know, it had to be something that fits you, and it's universal, that everybody can use it, because everything that everybody hears don't always work for the next person, you know. But when you find something that's universal, and one of the things that's universal is truth. So when you're dealing in truth, you know, you automatically begin to operate in that truth, and you begin to move to a level of expectancy that you know, and say, okay, if I do something this way, and what I'm more speaking of, when we don't have a lot of negative energy within ourselves, we attract positive energy, because we'll become positive energy. So that's the auto reciprocation. And so in doing that, a lot of times we don't know what to do, because no one tells us. So that's why I really appreciate everything that the CSC is doing, because it's showing you, not just saying don't do something, like a lot of, you know, we heard it coming up, like Jay spoke of earlier, don't have sex, and don't touch a woman, or don't touch a man, and don't play with it. Well, we want to experiment. when they told us not to do it, we did it anyway, you know? And so, because that's the taboo of it, you know, but we learned from those experiences, you know, and sometimes we didn't even know how to turn the switch off once we got started, a lot of us. But the reality of it is that when you begin to operate in who you are, and attracting positive energy by doing a lot of the things that Jay spoke about, sharing the wisdom of who you are, and you begin to attract what you want. You know, because now you'll become what you desire to have, and then it all, because some people say, man, how you've been here only 5 months, you don't well 15 months and you don't find a woman already. But I wasn't looking for Jacinta. You know, our paths just crossed. I think I don't tell her I said it, but I think she was stalking me, you know. But but the reality of it is, she saw some things in me. She saw me ushering. She saw me have a man in my life. I was part of a small group. I was doing something. I was a leader, and women want to have something to lead. Most women, especially if they desire to have something, they don't want a man if they don't know how to lead it. But they'll love to lead you, and if you let them, they will.
Yeah.
But they'd rather have a man to lead them, you know. And so that was my journey. And when I passed crop, I took a chance and saw, because I saw something special in her. And I asked her, I said, well, I know that we got this ministry together, but I like to get to know you as a friend. You're already my sister in Christ. I want to get to know you as my friend. And so she said, let me pray about it. You know that mean, right? So, but she prayed about it. She came back and she said she would like that too. You know, but we have to be aggressive and, you know, not overly aggressive, but we can't be aggressive, passive aggressive. We got to be assertive, aggressive, you know, and in terms of sharing how you feel with a woman, because like Jay said, most of them they desire to, you know, want. As a matter of fact, statistically, women want sex more than men.
Yeah, I try to tell people that they do not believe that, but women, like I say, they not these little innocent things. They like sex.
like Jay said earlier, you know, the one that's the quietest and shy used to be the one that's the biggest one, you know, but the reality of it is, you know, and then, you know, hey, it's all right to tell a woman you like her. It's all right, you know, to go out and have coffee with her. It's all right to be in the midst of her and take her somewhere and you know, and do the things, but understanding the significance of what it means and what marriage is, and when you begin to understand those things, then you begin to operate in it. But you know, don't hesitate, don't stop, you know, be in the midst of, because you know God made them very beautiful and attractive for us, and that's why they're here, you know. So I just want to share those things, and I'm open, and we'll be sharing more things as time passes on. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, if nobody else has anything else, Larry, you got something? Go ahead, brother.
Hey, when you get a chance and speak with them tomorrow, can you tell them to start wearing their real hair?
No, we can't.
That's
we can't do that.
You ask for.
I see you say
Larry,
that,
you need
but
to
see,
stop,
I done
Larry.
got to the
Stop it,
point
Larry.
where I'm okay with the wigs. I mean, my ex-wife wore wigs, so I was just like, hey, that's fine. I ain't gonna argue over that. We did. I mean, if you want to do, because I like natural hair.
Yeah,
but
so do I. Yep.
I'm also like, look, if you want to wear the wig, just wear the wig, but don't have it where it's all the way down to your butt. You know, just have it where it just come to your neck and be done. I don't argue. I let, especially black women, I let black women have 1 to 1.5 fake items.
And then also too is that we have to keep in mind that while all the physical aspects and everything is beautiful in a woman, you know, and we know that, but one of the most amazing things that you would definitely get is to win her heart. You know, know her from the inside out. You know, all that other stuff amazingly beautiful. You know.
Well, actually, I like what Sean Williams said. I think he said it on a call last weekend, and he basically said, a woman cares for you. Basically, I'm totally messing up how he said it, but it's about how you make her feel. So when she thinks about you, what are the feelings that come to mind? That is how to get a woman. So if you're the person that's confidently complimenting her and she feels comfortable around you and she feels happy when she's around you, that is the energy that makes her fall in love with you. It's not so much who you are per se, it's more about how you make her feel. And I heard a guy say this a long time ago. It's better to have a woman and end up in an argument with her on the first date than for the date to be just blah.
Yeah.
Because the argument stirs her emotions, and it's through her emotions that she remembers you. But if you're blah, she doesn't remember you. It's better for her to hate you in the beginning than for her to feel blah to you. Because at that point, she's not thinking about you at all. You haven't stirred her emotions. And that's another reason why men should always just be themselves, because even if she doesn't like you, it's like, so. Because if you're too bland, then she's gonna lose interest. But if you're like, look, I don't do this, I don't do that, I ain't taking your butt. No way. I ain't paying for that shirt. And she might be like, well, all the other men did it. Well, I'm happy to be the first to do it. That is the energy that she's gonna remember that. And so you stand out in her mind. So I've kind of learned to I'm not saying be a jerk. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying being a jerk. But I'm just saying, stand your ground in what you believe.
Yeah, and that's that wimpy women. Strong women do not like wimpy men, man. They will use you up.
Yeah.
It's like you were talking about with the shoes, Jay. If she feels good in the shoes that you bought, then you are responsible for how she feels with those shoes. And she'll always associate the shoe, with how she feels in those high heels that you bought her. And that she will associate that good feeling with you. So
yeah, I like that. That's cool.
And I remember that conversation we had about that you were talking about. Maybe that Sean was talking about. It's about how she feels, how you make her feel when she's with you. If she feels good around you, then that's to your advantage. Yeah.
I think that most men, and Jay mentioned it, about the text messaging. It's not only for sexual purposes. Just a text message, a card. I brought my wife cards. Sometimes I get flowers. I come home. I get a card and put it in her computer. And when she opens up the computer, the card is there. Just the thought of doing things differently and letting her know that she's being thought of. Or texting her in the morning and calling her at lunch. Not checking on her, making sure that certain things, baby, don't go out, after a certain time and try to, by yourself. I do it, do it before, and these are the kind of things that make a woman feel like you spoke of, protected and and cared for and loved,
Yep.
And it works. Trust me, it works, dog, for real. 5 years and counting. I'm gonna get like Jay, 18.
What's up?
I'm gonna get like
Okay, well, I'm gonna pray us out real quick, and then I got one other little quick tip for y'all, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. Lord God of heaven, we just thank you and we praise you, Lord. We know, Lord God, that you're with us, that the Holy Spirit is constantly with us, Lord God, and we thank you, for the candid information, the candid conversation, and we just ask, Lord God, that you will bless each and every last one of the men here, and also the ones that might watch it online. We just ask that you would just move and have your way, Lord. We ask that you would touch each and every last person, bless them, guide them, lead them, and that you would just heal over this holiday season, that they're praying for each and every last person. This is a time when we lose a lot of people because they're not getting proper prayer. So we ask, Lord God, that you will protect each and every last person here, their families, their friends, that you would just move upon them right now, that you would just encamp angels around them right now. And we thank you, we honor you, and we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen. So here's the final little trick. This will definitely help out all you guys. Every woman is different. Remember that, every woman is different. But even if your woman does not seem as though she appreciates this, I would encourage you to do it. Okay? Just simply because even if it's not her love language, you can kind of make it her love language because she gets used to it and then you stand out. Because my thing is, when I marry somebody, I want to be the best. I want to be the best man she's ever known. And so that's my mindset. And most of these tricks that we're talking about today are easy. They're easy things. These are not a lot of work.